Hi, welcome back to the Koffe Brown Show. And tonight we have a special treat for y'all. I'm your favorite natural goddess, Naturally Dupree.
And I am Coach Koffe Brown in the building. Snip Cliff.
We're so happy to have you here live in the flesh.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I love it. I'm super excited to dive into your mind.
Oh, God.
I am.
You trying to take my brain cells?
You can keep the cells. I just want to look at them.
Okay, then I got you. Let's get it in then.
Okay, so first, I want to know, how long have you been extremely creative? Because I feel like it's something that comes to you while you sleep, when you're dreaming, while you're driving, when you're praying.
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, my first creative experience was when I was 6 months old. My dad used to play 8 tracks when we were back home in Detroit, and I hummed the song in the bed that was on the 8 track.
6 months.
6 months old. Mm-hmm.
Divine being. I promise you. I promise you. I've never met someone as creative as me. Someone that can immediately think of something and have to jot it down.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
So when was your first actual project when you was like, you know what, I have to start writing?
I started writing probably when I was about 6 or 7. Was when I first started writing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could literally think of something. I would go outside and I would see something that would inspire me. I would go back in the house and write it. And I had all kind of poems and all kinds of things. And then when I got to backtrack. I started singing publicly when I was 3. So then from there, all of the rest of the eclectic energy just kind of poured out. And over time, by the time I got to high school, my English teacher discovered that I was really gifted to write, and she would literally make me overly write stuff. I don't appreciate it, but she had me overly writing when I was in school. I was like, why do I have to write something else? After I already got this A, I don't want to write nothing else. And but I appreciate it now that I'm more mature. But yeah, it was a lot growing up.
It's like she saw that in you and wanted to nurture it. And now you have published how many books?
I don't know. I think about 15, something like that.
See, that's what happened. You lose track.
Something like that.
You lose track. Okay,
I do ghostwriting. I support other authors under their particular brand. So a lot of things that I do aren't under my brand.
Okay, ghostwriter.
Oh,
you're really a writer.
Oh, absolutely.
You're a storyteller.
100%. Yeah, I definitely am a storyteller for sure.
I love that. You inspire me because I used to write a lot when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of got away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching you on social media, looking at all of the creative things you have done, it inspired me to get back into writing. So out of those projects, which one can you say was the one that forced you to continue?
I think, honestly, I would say She Chose Him and Screwed Me, 9 Reasons for Her Decision. That one really messed with me a lot because it was some things within the content that it was some behind the scenes things about me that I had other people expound on, if that makes sense. And that one kind of really messed
personal.
All of it's very personal. Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously.
But from that one, after that project, did you feel, okay, now I need to take it up a notch? I need to do this project or I need to go there?
Yeah, that happened with the men's book. You say you love me, but do you respect me?
And I love that book.
And that one was hard because, like, you know, even when we went back and we were doing the editing and we were working out everything for that particular project, it was like, wow, do we really respect our men? It was, that question was, it weighed heavy on both men and women. It wasn't just the women that had to address it, but it was the guys who had to address, have I really earned her respect? It was a lot of questions that were answered in that publication. And it was so beautiful because it was so masterful. We had a lot of spiritual writers, and then we had a lot of men coming from a secular perspective. So it just brought the whole man into perspective and the whole reason for the male being and why they yearn and desire that one thing, respect.
That's deep. For myself, when I was younger, I didn't understand why a man was so adamant on respect. I'm like, what do you mean respect? Like, it's a no-brainer. What do you mean respect? So when I saw that book, I was like, they went there.
Yeah, they went all
did
the way
not
in.
Hold back.
No, they went in. They went in that book, and it yeah, they went in that book. They really did. And I'm excited about them coming back to actually do the live tapings and having those conversations, because, you know, it's one thing to see it in the book, but it's another thing to hear that same man express what it is that he's saying from that particular content. But I'm glad to be here, but I want to get into these other authors on this book. They are a beast.
I'm super excited that they're here live, virtually.
Can we bring them in?
Let's bring them in.
Can they come on in? Come on in the building. Yes, they are in the house tonight. So excited. Super excited about the bosses being in the building tonight. It's amazing just to see how these ladies, including yourself, did their thing in this book.
Thank you so much. It really was.
Yeah, it was amazing. Real dope.
I've learned to appreciate all of them.
Yes.
In their own individual way.
Absolutely.
It was everything in this book that I learned about them.
Yes.
It was something that I never expected. So
look, I learned more about Monica in this book than I ever knew about her. I was like reading it going, oh man. It's like, oh, it was almost like I was rediscovering friendships. It's one of those kind of books where you're sitting down and you hollering at your girlfriend like, man, I didn't know you were rolling like that. You know, so it's really dope. You too. Don't think you're gonna get out of the interview or ministry tonight, because you in the seat too, woman.
I'm in the seat.
Oh, absolutely. So definitely, I'm just excited that you all had an opportunity to really express yourself in this publication. You gave you away, and it's just beautiful to see that. You know, Gracia sees everything before I see it, because she know I got issues. I'm real critical when it comes to content. So Gracia's like, no, ma'am, you're not allowed to see nothing right now.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I thank God for Gracia, because she gonna give y'all some grace. I'm not giving y'all no grace. And she hence the name Gracia, right?
Hello.
And she came back and she was like, Koffe, this is gonna be a bad book. Like, she really, really talked about it from a perspective of just the vibrations. And she was like, man, I can take so much from this book. So many things I can take from this and add to my tool belt. So I'm excited to hear from them tonight, for sure.
One thing about Gracia, she's a writer. It's in her.
So ridiculous. Lady Victoria too.
Having her look at it.
Listen, Lady Victoria, let me tell you how smooth she is. When we did the first project, I got to tell on her. I got to tell on her. We did our very first project years ago. It's called The Race to the Ring, the 7 Seasons of Successful Courtship. Yeah, that was my first anthology. It was really amazing. I'm reading the content and I'm sitting here reading this story and I'm like, what? I felt like a scrub. I went and rewrote my chapter. That was, Gracia will tell you, Gracia was like, what are you doing? I said, I got to rewrite my chapter because this lady like showed out on us, Sabrina. She showed out on us. her story was so captivating that I knew that she was talking about herself. But you wouldn't know it unless you knew her.
Yes.
And so it was so masterfully done. And then when we realized, I said, man, this girl got some creative energy. And it's just magical, man, to just see everybody. This book is just priceless. I can't really put it into words. I cried a lot reading that book, like for real.
Me too.
I really did. You know, some of our authors aren't able to be in the building tonight for various reasons, like Crystal Sauls and my actual biological sister.
Yeah.
Last night, Tanisha I call her my play sister, but she literally could have been my real sister. Like we could have had the same parents for real, because we are so much alike. Our lives have been parallel for many, many, many years. But my biological sister that I used to take care of, because she's the youngest of the 8 of us, and I'm the oldest of the 8 of us. So she's on the project, and it just, man, just looking at how God just takes things and brings them back full circle.
Yeah.
And to have my sister on the project is priceless for me. It messes with me. It really does.
When you read her chapter,
I was done. I started to call Gracia, because when I really want to cry, I call Gracia, because I don't let nobody else.
Yeah.
Me and Lady Victoria, when I get upset, I call Lady Victoria, because she's my regulator. When I get mad, I call Gracia.
So what's the difference?
Gracia have to tell you about that in a whole nother. When I upset and mad, Koffe, it's 2 different people. You don't want to see me mad. So Gracia deals with me when I'm mad. Lady Victoria deals with me when I'm upset.
I love you have a powerful team with your publishing company. And I'm so grateful and thankful to be a part of it,
Absolutely.
To be a part of this journey with you.
Absolutely.
To have someone that understands my creativity.
And respect it.
Hello.
It's dope, man. It's dope. I love it. And just the backstory about you and me, we met also. This is why I tell people all the time, because we don't get into these authors, but I tell people all the time how powerful social media is. I met every single person on here from social media. Every person that I have on this project, 80% of the people on this project, I met them right through social media, building relationships. And I believe in building relationships. I didn't ask anybody to do anything at the start of the gate. I forged friendships and built relationships. Yes. And that's what we're missing as far as connecting is concerned. You got to build these relationships and then develop partnerships that add value on both sides of the coin. Because there's no need of me having something that's not going to be of value to you for your future. Like JJ talked about last night, legacy. Her grandbaby's birthday was yesterday. And I was like, oh man, why you do me like that, JJ? And it was just beautiful just to, hear that story of every single year. The anniversary of this publication is going to be on her grandbaby's birthday. That's amazing.
Purpose.
Powerful. Powerful. Let's get into these ladies. Snap clap for the bosses in the building.
All right, ladies, let's get into it. Who do we have here live in the flesh?
Live in the flesh.
Come on. We have Lady Victoria. Come
now,
on.
You got to tell them. You got to tell them the intro.
Introduce yourselves. Y'all know how we do. We're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate each other. We're here to celebrate our project. Love on each other.
Okay, I will go first then. I am Lady Victoria, and like Koffe said, we've been knowing each other a long time, but we literally met on social media, on her relationship show, through other people. That's how I met her, because I was pretty chatty in the comment section or whatever that topic was on that particular day. But
it was juicy. Ooh-wee.
It was juicy. It really was. But because of my commenting, she invited me to come on her platform at that time. And I did. And I've been on her platform a few times. So I'm really honored, and I'm really, really grateful to have met Koffe. But I'm even more grateful for the interaction that we have in business and just as friendship, as ladies that know how to have friendship together. So Wow, what else do I want to say about me? I love the projects. Every project that I've worked on with Koffe has been a success. Even the ones that I haven't worked on with her, they have been a success. And I am so elated to be a part of this network of women who look after each other. We take care of each other. We're concerned about each other. So there's so many more things that I could say about the publishing house and about Koffe, but I'm supposed to be introducing myself. So
Y'all see Jason Hayden in the comments talking about who all wrote on the men's book.
that's all right. Yes. But yes, I am a certified etiquette consultant, and I love working with people in the way of manners, whether it's in business, personal, or in your social environments. I love working with youth. I love working with teenagers. I have a mentorship program where I work with teenagers, building up their self-esteem, helping them to realize who they are, that their voice matters, that the things that they think about themselves are the things that they will become. So I work in that arena to just help them to see themselves through someone else's eyes. And oftentimes that's how they begin to see themselves, through someone else's eyes. But then coming to the realization that the way they see themselves is the thing that matters the most. So there's a lot more I could say, but I'll leave it there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Monica's
You're
in the
welcome.
building.
Hi,
Be like, whoop whoop.
Woo, woo.
Hey everybody. Well, I'm Monica Macias. I am, of course, an entrepreneur. I own a Christian apparel and accessories business, boutique online. I'm a Christian social media influencer. So if those of you that don't know me, you can find me over on TikTok. We are growing organically there. It has become an incredible experience. But it has just created just additional connections to Christian life coach, best-selling author, podcaster, all of those, right? And how I met Koffe was I actually came across her in a clubhouse room. And then I followed her onto her boutique and I became a customer. And literally, like I was there every day she went live. And we created this friendship. And she reached out to me when God dropped me in her spirit. And it has evolved and created so many opportunities. I am honored to be connected to not just this project, but every project and everything that we get to do together. And she inspires me. Koffe does a lot. And when you try to balance all of those things, even when in writing this book, creating that balance, how do you do it? And that's what I enjoyed about this project. So I'm not going to share. I want everybody to introduce themselves before we start sharing about our chapters. But it is definitely an honor to be a part of this project.
Thank you, Monica. We so happy to have you here. Okay, Lady
There's
Grace.
my girl, Grace.
Hello, everyone. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm Gracia Collins Rich. I am when I have to introduce myself, I'm like, it's so many things. Do I need to say everything? So I'm gonna run through really quick. I I am an author, a journalist, a historian, an independent scholar. I am an editor. I am also, and none of these are my actual day job. I'm also criminal defense and civil litigation paralegal by day. And Koffe and I are like, not even like the best of friends, like I'd say sisters. The way I met Koffe was she came to a book signing for a book, another anthology project that I was on with a few other women. And she knew one of the women who was actually on the project. And she came to the book signing and she and I met there and we hit it off immediately. Koffe has one of those personalities that immediately draws you to her. She had made a comment to me about my haircut because my hair was really, really low then, which is a style that I really love. And she and I just started talking from that point on. And then we exchanged information. We found out that our actual birthdays are 2 days apart. in the month. Like her birthday is 11/11, my birthday is 11/13. And she and I just became sisters after that. And the cool thing about Koffe, I remember when the publishing house was just an idea. Because Koffe and I are the type of people who will just talk every day. Like every day. And Koffe has a notebook everywhere she goes. She has one by her bed. And she always tells me when things come to her, if she wakes up, she just writes it down. And she told me about the first anthology that she wanted to write. And then she was like, I'm going to want to expound this out into a publishing house. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And it's been rolling ever since. And through my wonderful sisterhood, friendship, relationship with Koffe is how I met Lady Victoria and also how I met Monica.
I'm so happy to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Yes, the way they just all gave you flowers, you don't change. And we instantly clicked.
Yeah. And this is, I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, well, what's this deal with you and Dupree? I said, we never saw each other until now. Now, we've been friends on social media for years, had common interests. Whenever we had events in the school district, it would always be, I would be there, you wouldn't be there, you would be there, I would be there. And we never physically saw each other until January this year. Never been in the same room.
Oh my goodness, it was this year.
It was this year, January.
But it don't feel like it.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It feels like we've been together forever. It's dope.
So thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for thinking of me for this. I'm so grateful because you don't change. You're always there. And I'm happy to have known all of you and get to know you further. So let's dive deep into it because I have some things that I'm ready to share and expand on. Lady Victoria, I want to start with you if you don't mind. Because when I read your chapter, I was like, oh, baby, she's seasoned. She is seasoned in this entrepreneurship journey, okay? So for you, when you first started out and no one was a believer, how did you keep that faith of being a believer on this journey?
Well, the vision was so alive within me, and it was here before it was here. It was just something in me that I knew that it was more than me wanting to do it. I knew that it was something that I had to do. I couldn't bypass this. And I'd never had a real business before. I tried my hand at a few things here and there, but they either didn't work out, or once I got into it, it didn't really satisfy me. I didn't have a push and an urge to go further with it. So I didn't want to waste my time or my money. So I just let it go. But in this particular business, it was my heart. It was really, truly my heart to be able to do what I did. And like you said, I did it alone. I did it against the naysayers, against the people that said that would never work. You can't do this. I remember one situation, and this was before I started the business in college. And I was a journalism major, and we had to write this paper. And then we had to write our own obituary. And in writing my obituary, I listed all of the things that some I had already done and some that I wanted to do in my life. And I remember my professor coming to me and saying to me at that time, you can't do that. You won't be able to do that. You just can't do it. You won't be able to do all of those things. Yeah, she told me that to my face in front of the class. Not alone, not by myself. And I said, I am going to prove her wrong. I'm going to prove her wrong. And the goals that I set for myself to do and to achieve, I did do them. I went back to that college years later to find her because I wanted her to see, you a liar. And you don't have control over my life. You don't have control or authority over my dreams, over my ambitions. You don't. I won. you lost. That's how I felt about this business. This was something that I had to do, and I did it for 20 years. And it was my passion. It was my heart. It gave me the opportunity to serve others. It gave me the opportunity to be able to minister to others. It gave me the opportunity to be able to play a part in shaping the lives of very young people, some of them children. And I just did it until it was time to go to the next thing. But when I released it, I was so satisfied because I knew I had come into a place of completion for that project.
Wow.
It wasn't my own idea, but it was a God-given idea. And I followed every step and I came to completion and I released it when it was time.
Wow.
But I did it. I did it against the odds. And
Your
everyone came.
Wow.
The power of mindset.
Yes.
The power of mindset. You could have gave up when that professor told you, no, you cannot do this. Just think about the fact that somebody in authority and power to shape someone's mind and tell them that they can't do it. You could have gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Look to what you believed in. Continued on for 20 plus years.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
For sharing.
I don't regret a day of it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure it's people out there that's listening or that's going to get the book and they're going to feel, wow, if she stuck to it, if she can do it, even though nobody believed in her, can do it too. I can relate to that because I did it without support. I did it without people believing in me, but I believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing it. I've never heard someone say that their professor told them in front of a class, oh, no, you can't do that. Okay. All righty. So I do want to get into Gracia because when we was working on this project, Gracia really touched me. She touched me in so many ways, spirit, mind. When I tell you, I was like, okay, this lady, I need to get to know her. I need to get to know her. When you read my chapter and we had our conversation, I was like, wow, okay, I'm on the right track. Because remember I told you I was scared about it?
Yeah.
I do.
No? You remember?
I do.
When I read your chapter, I was like, wow, I can relate to that because it was kind of sort of how I was feeling. I was feeling scared about it. But when you were along your walk of walking into your purpose and you kept meeting resistance, you didn't give up. So expand on that. I want to know when you had this burning passion inside of you and it just was not working out. What made you stick to it?
I stick to it because I really think for some of us, life experiences mold us into the people that we become. And for me, I've had a lot of different obstacles in life. So I have become a survivor in all things. So when I have obstacles and when I felt, much like Lady Victoria, my dream of what I knew I could become, when obstacles got in my way, I will be honest, they slow you down. Obstacles will always slow you down. But it's how you choose to deal with the obstacles that give you your outcome. For me, it was just, having that, the attitude to not be defeated. There's so many things that I have had to endure, come through, walk through, stand up to in life. There was no way that I was not going to stand up to my dream. There was no way that I was, not going to press through to make what I knew was for me to happen. There's always a survival instinct in all of us, even if we don't know it. Sometimes we have to go through things to get through things.
Mm-hmm.
If you get what I'm saying. So for me, that has just always been a thing. I believe in going through, even if it's hard, because, there's that saying, which I know is kind of cliche, but very true. Nothing worth having is easy. You're going to have to do the hard stuff. When it came to my vision, as I said in my chapter, without giving too much away, when something didn't work for me, instead of just throwing everything in the trash, sometimes you have to get up, regroup, restart, and try it again. It's never, I won't say never. For some people, it may work the first time, but that is a low, probability. For most of us, it takes more than one time. And I feel like, as women, sometimes we get discouraged when it doesn't happen the first time or the second time, maybe even the third time. But if you know that it's something that you want, you will go through whatever it takes to get. And that's one of the things that I really want people to get from my chapter. Keep going. Because you never know, the day that you stop, tomorrow could be the day for your breakthrough. Keep going.
That's good.
One last question before we even touch on something else. Did you have anyone to pull you up when you faced one of your hardest obstacles or struggles? Did anyone pull you up, lift you up, and tell you it's going to be okay, you're going to be able to persevere?
For me, lots of times I had to make a way on my own. I'm a person who actually lost both of my parents when they were really young. So I didn't have that parental guidance to go through. I'm also someone who, after 20 years, am now a divorced person. So I didn't have my husband to turn to. Sometimes you only have God in yourself. And trust me, God is enough.
Yes.
Amen.
But, like I said before, you are going to have to put in the work, because at the end of the day, you are who you're going to have to depend on. You are who you're going to have to rely on. Absolutely. I have 4 children who are relying on me. So on top of my own wants and dreams, I have children that I have to look out for. Children that I have to make sure are taken care of. Children that I would never want to see struggle because I didn't push through. So that was my reason. That was my reason.
Beautiful. Before we move forward, I want to let all the viewers know today is the last day you could go ahead and purchase your ebook for 99 cents. But you can always, at any time, go ahead and purchase the hard copy through your favorite author. So I have to get back to you, right?
Let's get to you.
Wait, no. We have to get back to you, because you've been doing this and you've been helping a lot of people share their story, helping them get their creative juices flowing. When it came to your publishing company, have you ever met that resistance where you thought, okay, this is probably going to be the end of this?
Honestly, this whole project, this whole situation, yes, it was, I don't even know how to explain it. But I was kind of projecting for the future some things, and I literally launched another company. It's a whole lot of things that are happening behind the scenes of this book, but I was like, man, I almost said I'm getting ready to refund everybody their money and I'm done. It was the pressure, dealing with my adopted mom passing away. It was crazy. It was a lot. Found myself hospitalized for a short term, challenge that I was facing medically, unexpectedly. It was just so many different things. that was coming against me after I had spoken to all y'all lives. Like literally.
Yeah.
Literally, I spoken to all y'all's lives, and then bam, here comes these grave attacks against my life. It was the most challenging time of my journey in a lot of different ways. It was just crazy. Personal, professional, spiritual. It was everything was just going absolutely crazy. However, throughout the whole process, even though I had that thought of saying, oh, maybe I'll just let it go, I was at peace. And that was the first time in my life I've been that peaceful. Even through the chaos, even through the calamity, even through all the opposition, all the crazy stuff that was happening, I was just like literally like, okay, what else can fall apart? Is there anything else that can go wrong? Is there another text I'm gonna get? Am I gonna get cussed out again? All right, I'm not usually on the receiving end of dramatics, however, but I'm on drama.com ministries. What in the hell that is going on in the air? But you know, I learned and I rediscovered the one thing that matters the most is that if God's for you, doesn't matter who's against you. It really don't matter.
Absolutely.
You know, so I went through an identity theft. Somebody stole my identity, robbed me about $50,000. It was just crazy stuff. Hacked my social media. My phones were hacked. It was crazy. I was like, what in the hell is going on with this? But what I came to realize is that when you look at where you're supposed to go, you have to understand that there has to be an opposition to prove that you're worthy of where you say you're heading. It's got to be the proof before you receive the promise. So it's so crazy how that works. You're like, oh, I got to prove to you that I'm worthy to receive this promise, which I know that I'm worthy of, but it's got to be some proof. And I think with the proof comes the actual humility. It keeps you a base. It keeps you on your face. It keeps you constantly saying thank you and in position of gratitude. So it was just some things that I needed to learn. I needed to discover some things about myself. I needed to discover some things about me in this phase of womanhood that I'm in. And I just needed some things to fall off. And I wasn't going to take them off. So they literally had to be crushed away. So that's that olive crushing experience that I had. And on the other side of that, you know, when I kind of came to my senses like King David did, it was like, whatever betides me, I'm going to trust you. Whatever happens, I'm going to talk to my own self and I'm going to encourage myself. And this too has to pass. It can't stay here. It came to pass. So I had to learn and relearn and kind of tap into that educator energy and say, I gave you all the tools. I had to think like I tell my students. I always get silent when they get ready to get tested. They always ask me, Ms. Brown, can you tell me this and that? I don't tell them anything. I just point to the board and say, information is right there. Take the test. And that's what God was doing with me. He was like, information is right there. Take the test. Pass the test. And that's what it was all about, because that wilderness experience, nobody wants to be in the wilderness for 40 years. Nobody in their right mind, a lucid person does not want to be trapped in that for 40 years. So I was like, I'm going through this, whatever this is, I'm going all the way on the other side because I don't have time for this to keep showing up. Because what happens is it gets worse and worse and harder and harder and worse and worse. So I was like, I need to go through this now. And it was a character building time for me. It really was.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that's your breakthrough moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's get into it.
Well, let's get into Monica first. And then we're going to come on back to you.
All righty then, Monica.
Let's get into Monica. That's the TikTok queen, seriously.
I hear.
I'm serious. That chick is she's doing a thing
built
on TikTok.
her whole brand.
Yeah, she on that TikTok church. She got a whole ministry on TikTok.
We need you to talk about that.
Facts.
So yeah, you know, I jumped on over to TikTok just to try. I originally got on TikTok to promote my podcast, and it's evolved. God has allowed me the opportunity to just teach about him and share what he's doing, not just in my life, but what promises he has for everyone else. It's become this encouraging and inspirational platform for me to be able to just release what God is telling me. And what I've enjoyed is the connections it's created. Sometimes we get to points where we feel like what we're doing isn't working and it's not helping anyone. But when you get that message from someone that says, don't stop what you're doing because you inspire me every day, or what you said today, I needed to hear. Those are the moments that I realize that everything that God is feeding me and putting into my spirit is exactly what the people need to hear. And we never know how that one message can impact someone's life. And so that's like the thing that continues to drive me, is knowing that if I can touch someone's life or change their life for the better or give them the strength to keep growing through it, then I'm doing what God has called me to do.
Amen.
For sure. I think that is purposeful. And when you get that intuitive message and you listen, you're obedient and you share it, then you immediately get that confirmation by somebody saying, I needed that. You helped me today. I'm a strong believer in, as long as I help one person, I've done my job.
Absolutely.
Amen.
So I'm happy that you had that TikTok success, because that is something that a lot of people want to get into, but it's not as easy for them. And your editing is fire. Absolutely.
Period.
She be coming together with the editing.
Yes. I listen, I texted her earlier today. Can you put something together for the Saints, please? Can you put the Saints on, please?
It be together.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
to get into your chapter just a little bit, what was the one moment that it was challenging for you to put it in the book, but you knew that with you sharing it, it was going to light somebody else up?
The entire chapter. I had to make a decision.
I love it.
You know, we choose to be vulnerable or not to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And in this book, I chose to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? It's not always roses and it's not perfect and it doesn't always go the way you planned it. And that's what my chapter really was about. The topic was, when will it work? When you do everything God has asked you to do, when you pivot, when you change, when you adjust, when you try something different and it still doesn't work. And then understanding, well, what season am I in? And what that waiting season looks like. And for me, that's what it was. That's what this chapter was about, was trying to encourage someone who may be in the waiting season, thinking that everything that you're doing isn't working for you. What is it how did it get me through it? How am I growing through it? How do I stay on path? And the one thing that continues to push me is my faith. And if there's one thing that I spoke about, is that.
Yeah, absolutely. Your chapter is going to move a lot of people, because it definitely moved me. When you were speaking about the waiting period, I was in a waiting period for 2 years and I didn't understand. But then I thought about all of the testaments in the Bible of the story of people waiting. They waited for 30, 40, 20 years, and I waited for 2, and I'm over here like, okay, Lord, when is my time? Because 2 years is a long time, especially when you have children. You see it as that, but it's stories of people waiting longer. So understanding how to wait and what to do in your waiting period is powerful. It helps so many people understand how to switch their perspective and see things from a different side, how to wait in gratitude, how to be grounded in your waiting. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Now I know you want to dive deep. Let's dive deep.
Listen. First of all, I have to say thank you to everybody. Our new PR firm, when they put the chapters in position, I was sitting there and I was just like, they were like, "What do you think?" And it was funny because when I gave them my ideas, it was the same as what they projected, and I was like, "It will flow so amazing if we just." And they were like, "That's exactly how we had it laid out." So when they turned their paper over, it looked just like my paper, and I was sitting there saying, "Yeah, this is what I'm talking about." And I just, as I was reading it, the one thing that is harmonious throughout of it is that everybody here is an overcomer.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is an overcomer. Everybody is a warrior. Everybody is interested in making certain that they do not fail because they made they made it optionless. I cannot fail. I will not, because I'm not making that an option. That's not going to be a choice. And so in your chapter, you shared a lot, a whole lot, and you packaged it into this compartmentalization to where you got to literally unpack your chapter to really grasp the full totality of the message. And the one thing that I resonated with was when you talk about your son in your chapter. It just kind of, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cry again. I'm not gonna cry again. I'm just not gonna cry again. I'm not gonna cry again. I can totally relate to that. My son was born with bilateral club feet. And so he had 6 major surgeries before he turned 1 year old. They sent me home with morphine to give my son. And that was the scariest time of my life. I had to literally quit working in order to take care of my son. I had to literally give up my place. And I was very independent to take care of this child. And I was like, how in the world am I supposed to do this? How in the world am I supposed to make this happen? And then God gave me a man who adopted my son, changed his name. And God does really interesting things with us, So I just applaud you for everything that you're doing. And now you're literally setting that course for your children to win in life by homeschooling them, which is not even heard of very much anymore, that people will put all of that energy in it while you're building a brand, while you're building a business, while you're pouring into a whole community of women. What is the one thing through the chapter that you wrote that you want people to be clear on?
I don't want to be vague with my answer because I feel like we all can relate to not giving up, but really paying attention and understanding what God is showing you when he's calling you to your purpose. Because I kept trying, and in the beginning, it was for me to take care of my children. Like I shared with the ladies last night, entrepreneurship chose me. I did not choose entrepreneurship. I was a great employee. I was fine with being an employee. I was, because I was great. But God had me accumulate all of those skills to prepare me for my purpose, to help me understand how to be in leadership and also how to be a helpmate, how to help others and build a community. I'm really big on community building, and that's one of the reasons why I love our relationship, because you're really big on friendship and building community. So when it comes to pulling one thing from my chapter, I just want someone to understand that you have to understand what God is calling you to do. So unplug from the outside and plug into your spiritual being. Understand that sometimes you have to turn down the noise outside of you and turn up the volume inside of you.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Turn up the volume on the inside. Wow.
I had so much chaos, people telling me, oh, you should do this or you should do that. And my path was just different. And it was something that nobody have seen. So me doing things differently, it caused me to question myself a lot, because people telling me that I need to do it this way, I need to do it that way, or why are you doing this, why are you doing that? And God was showing me different things, but I wasn't trusting all that God was showing me. And it was just because the volume outside was too loud. So those 2 years of God pulling me into isolation, he revealed a lot. So you have to trust what God is showing you, understand. And if you're not listening, God is going to continue to pull you back and tell you, hey, my child, I need you to listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
Don't listen to what they're saying. They can tell you stuff all day, but it can be illusions. Everything outside of you is an illusion. So pay attention to what's true, what's here. And that's what brought me into my purpose. Now I'm walking in my purpose. I'm doing it on purpose, and I'm doing it with purposeful people.
I love it. That's powerful. I love it.
Thank you.
Woo! Listen. You think we should tell them what happened today? You think we should go ahead and tell them? I think it's time.
We should tell them. They
We need
waited
to
long
tell
enough.
these people what happened.
They need to know.
They need to know.
Y'all should know. Y'all want to know?
Y'all want to know?
Yes.
Congratulations, bosses. You all are international bestsellers, and you actually on the bestsellers list in every single category. You all did that. Congratulations to you. I'm so excited for you. You guys are amazing and fantastic. Technically, you actually became international bestsellers within 1 hour of the project dropping. 1 hour. 1 hour, which is a record for our company. So to God be all the glory. That's the first time in history for our brand that we actually became international bestsellers in 1 flat hour. 1 flat hour. So congratulations to each and every one of you. So excited for you guys and everything that's going to happen as a result of this. So listen, everybody, I'm going to give you some instructions and some guidance because that's what an educator does.
Do it in your anchor voice.
In my news anchor voice? Well, good evening, everybody. It is Coach P. Koffe Brown coming to you directly from Houston, Texas, and excited to be in the studio with Dapria Williams on this evening, who has emceed our project. Listen, you want to go over to Amazon.com right now, grab your 99-cent ebook, and then turn around and grab a paperback and go to your favorite author and have them to put their Jane Doe on that book for you. Or if you want to be a little bit more sassy, go directly to your favorite author and actually get it from them to ship it to you at the introductory price just for tonight of $21.97 only through your favorite author. This is your favorite news anchor coming to you from Houston, Texas, Coach P. Koffe Brown, getting ready to sign off. But in the meantime and in between time, know that you are purpose-filled and destined for greatness.
I love it.
That was off the cuff.
Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. I wish everyone so much greatness from this project. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for joining us live, all of the guests, for the love, the support.
Yes.
And we're signing off.
And we're excited, y'all. So definitely get in those comments. The authors will be putting their information directly in the comments as soon as we're off the live for you all to be able to connect with them directly. Support these women. They did a fantastic job with this publication, and you do not want to miss an opportunity to be able to get with these bosses, honey, about the babes and the business, period. God bless you guys, and we will see you again on another edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. God bless, grace, peace, and supernatural freedom, healing, and deliverance to each and every one of you. Good night, everybody. Peace.